Hey there everyone, Power here, and welcome back to Star Citizen. Today we're continuing on with part 4 of the tutorial series, though honestly this is less of a tutorial, more of a PSA type thing. What it is right now, you could do more with what is in the version of the game, or more in alpha, than initially comes across, but you have to do it via the website in order to get the most out of it. For example, you can actually rent most of the single person ships in the game, and even some of the multi-crew ships for 7-day periods with just playing the game. It doesn't cost you any real world money to do that. So today we're going to just go over some convenience of life things that you can do through the website here to get more out of the alpha build of the game, to enjoy the game a little bit more as we wait for it to develop out and further progress. Okay, so the first trick I'm going to show is a very simple one. Click on My RSI, and right here under Account, there's another little tab that's grayed out, Contacts. I'm not actually going to click on it because I don't want to show off all my contacts to everyone, but by going in there, you can add contacts in that will update in-game. So you come in here, type in whoever's name it is you're looking for, hit Enter, it'll apply them, and then when you launch the game up, they will be in your contacts in-game, making it an easy way to add contacts. Now, most of what we want to talk about today, though, are these 3 different currencies. And yeah, I'm not a fan of anything with 3 different currencies. This is a problem, but it is what it is. Let's deal with it. But let's figure out what they are. So the first one, store credits, is exactly what it sounds like, store credits. You can submit money, you could donate money and just get money and store credits. So say you didn't actually want to buy anything, you can put money into the store that way. But though most of the time you're going to store credits by buying something and then deciding you don't actually want it. So say you bought in with the $165 package for the Super Hornet. You could then come along later on and say, you know what? I don't want one $165 ship. I'd rather two $80, $85 ships, something along that line, or two $100 ships. What you can do is you can refund your Super Hornet package, get that $165 back, but it's going to come back in terms of store credit, which you can then turn around and put into something else. That's pretty straightforward, not too hard. UAC. So depending on how closely you watched my channel, yesterday you would have noticed a video went up for about 45 minutes and then came right back down. And that video was pretty much this exact video, but I made a big mistake here when it comes to UEC. UEC is both in-game and not in-game at the same time, and it's a little awkward to explain, so let me try to explain it as good as I can. What this number here currently represents, the one on the website, is how much credits I'm going to have when the player universe, the persistent universe, goes live. And right now I'm going to have 19,000 UEC. Now over in game, I can go ahead and I can earn UEC. In fact, I showed that off in, I think, part 2 of the tutorial videos. It might have been part 1. You can earn UEC, and then you can spend that UEC in order to get like armor, get weapons for your soldiers, so an assault rifle or shotgun, flight suits, then like just jackets and pants, things like that in game. That UEC is not right now the same as this UEC. So whatever we earn in game doesn't get transferred over here. This number, when it does go live and we can finally start earning ships in game and everything, will be what transfers in there. At that point, this number should start updating with whatever you earn in game, and they should coordinate. But until then, they're completely separate systems. Any UEC that you earn in game during the next patch is going to go away. You're going to go back down to 0, or maybe not 0. I think you start off with like 10,000. You might actually start off with whatever your number is here. But whatever you've earned, any additional beyond that goes away. Plus any items bought with UEC in-game go away. You're going to lose your body armor, you're going to lose your weapons, all of that. Need to pick that up again. This UEC can actually be spent, the UEC here on the website can be spent here on the site. We'll get into that here in a moment. The one we're mainly looking at, though, is REC, R-E-C currency. This currency is acquired by playing Spectrum public matches. Well, and private matches. I think private matches. But definitely Spectrum and public matches. When you come in here, you can earn REC currencies. So when you complete a race, you're going to get a certain amount of REC. When you play in Battle Royale, you're going to get a certain amount of REC. You're not going to get any for free flight mode, but everything else that is competitive, you will earn a certain amount of REC. I do Vandal Swarm. This is where I spend my time when I'm over here generally, though I'm starting to get a bit more into the Battle Royale. But basically, every time I do Vandal Swarm, I come away with anywhere from about 1,200 to 2,000 REC. I would say on average, I'm closer to about 1,200 rec currency. When I do a race, I'm really bad at racing. I come away with like 400. The battle royales I've done, I've come away with about 800, 900, maybe 1,200 on the high end. So you can see it averages out to probably about 1,000, maybe a little over 1,000, depending on what you do and how good you are. You get this REC currency. Now the currency can't actually be spent in game, but the currency can be spent over here on the store in the electronic access part of the store. So we click on this. In here is an only rec purchasable item store or rentable item store that we can get. And it's mainly ships, weapons, and components. Well, that is all it is, ships, weapons, and component. But mainly what we want to look at are the ships. So this is what I was talking about at the beginning of the video, where you can kind of rent ships to try out. So let's sort by price. And what they've basically done is they've taken the cost of the ship and they've added 2 zeros to it. So a low-end Aurora ES is $20. You can rent it for 20,000 rec. Or not 20,000, 2,000 rec. So roughly 2 matches. 2 matches to rent the Merlin. And then this goes on up all the way to the Vandal Glaive, which is 35,000 rec. So this is a $350 ship, 35,000. The Vanguard Warden, 250,000 or 25,000 rec, $250 ship. You get the idea. And in through here, you can see most of the ships that are currently in the game. There's no Avenger, there's no Cutlass, there's no Freelancer. I'm sorry, there is a Cutlass. There's no Avenger, there's no Constellation, there's no Freelancer. Those type ships are not in, but most of the rest of them are in. Now, when you rent these ships, you don't get to use them just everywhere. You can have them in your hangar to check out in the hangar. You can also take them back into electronic access, so into Vandal, Swarm, free flight mode, Battle Royale, any of those you can use them in. But you don't get them over in Port Olisar in the small PU that is currently active. You can also rent weapons. So here's all the weapons, the gimbals, missile racks, turret, little turret hatches, specialty mounts for the turrets, so on and forth. We don't have to go through all that. You get what it is. And then there's components, so you can get different shield generators, cooling plants, and different power plants for your ships to try out. For the most part, though, I recommend spend most of what you're going to get rec, try a ship. The best part about this, what this does bring about is, say you bought in with the Aurora model, the $25 one. So this one right here. Well, maybe you decide, what, I want a better combat ship. Well, what you can do is you can go ahead and you can rent out the Gladius. You can rent out the Saber. You can rent out, say, the Super Hornet. See which one of them fits you best before you commit any more money to the game and then find out, oh crap, I don't actually really like this thing. Well, here's a good way to try those out and experience them without actually spending any money in game. As I was saying earlier though, so moving back away from the rec, now we're talking the UEC. So that is under Store, the electronic access. There is also Voyager Direct. So Voyager Direct is the store where you spend your in-game currency, and this is a permanent spend here. So you have decorations, weapons, and components. Mainly over here, I don't recommend spending too much money right now because the weapons and components where most of it's going to go are all currently subject to change. Everything still needs to be balanced. Now, I have spent some of my UEC. I went ahead and under decorations, I picked up down here at the bottom a Grey Cat buggy. And this is just a little buggy that shows up inside your hangar right now, and you can drive it around. If you have something like a Freelancer or a Cutlass or a Starfare, you can drive it up inside the bay and everything. It's silly, it's kind of fun, it's kind of dumb also. I bought this for $15,000. Yeah, it's not a big deal to me, but that's it. I wouldn't recommend a poster or skins or anything, but that's your money. Spend that however you want. The key is, whatever money you spend here is going to be deducted from this amount of money here permanently. You're not going to get that back. There's no refunds on these. That is spent UEC. On the weapon side, I will say, I wouldn't recommend buying weapons because they're all going to be rebalanced. If, say, you have a ship that has a bunch of non-gimbaled weapons, the Aurora LS, for example, you can go ahead and you can come in here. Gimbals aren't going to change all that much. So yeah, maybe you want to spend some money on gimbals, and then no matter what, no matter how many resets they do, patch updates, you're always going to have access to a gimbal mount, so you can put it in there and get your ship better kitted out for a keyboard mouse flight style, or maybe a missile platform to add more missiles to your ship. That I can see as being a reasonably good investment. I just don't think, like, we don't know how much some of these things are going to change. I just don't recommend spending UEC on too many items beyond that. So hopefully that makes sense for the currencies. The big information there is just you can rent ships to try. Oh, let's go back real quick. So inside the store, go away at my RSI, store, and then electronic access. These are rentals, and they're for basically 7 days, but not actually 7 days. So when you rent one of these, you get 7 24-hour tickets. And what I can do is actually go into my RSI, my hangar, and then my ROMs, and what you'll see here is I have ROMs for the MISC Reliant Core. Basically what will happen is every time you go in and you access the ship that you rented, if it's either in your hangar or through a Arena Commander, it consumes a token. And then for the next 24 hours, you have access to that ship. So you consume the token, you can access it and stay with it all day for 24 hours. After 24 hours and 1 minute, it will then consume the next token. But say you mess around with it on Friday, and then you don't go back into the game again until Tuesday. When you go back in on Tuesday, you'll still have 6 tokens left or 5 tokens left. However many tokens are there, you don't consume another one until you access the ship again. So that is, you get 7 24-hour periods with the ship. It's not 7 days of like premium or something. It's just 7 24-hour periods. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. What else? I think there's a few other small things I'd like to go over. One is just a better way to browse the store, or browse ships in the store. This one seems silly, and it kind of is, but over here in the ships, it can be a little annoying coming through here and seeing, all right, what ships are currently available? Because they constantly have new ships going on sale. They take some ships off of sale, and it can just be like, well, what ships are currently available for us? And then they're all in this weird order. Maybe you're not sure which manufacturer it is you want to look for, and some things show up under fighters. This menu here is just a pain in the ass. If you want to see what ships are for sale, under extras, search the standalone ships. And when this comes up, you can now sort by price, and right here, very quickly, with no problem, we can see all currently available ships, what they cost in increasing order. And we can see, all right, so if I'm sitting here with, say, a 325A, and I want to maybe spend a little bit more, I can see very clearly what these other ships are going to cost, what ones are currently available. This is a better way to browse it, in my opinion. Now, say we did have this. Well, let's actually go with the Aurora LS. I don't actually see it here. Or Aurora LN. I forget. I think it's Aurora LN. So say we have the Aurora LN, which we do have, and we wanted to consider maybe upgrading it to something else. What we can do is through ship upgrades. This is what they call the cross-chassis upgrade system. On the left-hand side here, I can choose the chassis I want to get rid of, the Aurora LN here. And now I can upgrade this to another ship. It has to be a more expensive ship, a higher value ship. But say we could upgrade this to an Avenger Stalker. And all we have to do is we just have to pay the difference. So since the Aurora LN is a $35 ship, we have to pay $25 to upgrade to the Avenger Stalker. The reason this is important, so I talked earlier about how you can refund items back to the store and then, or back to RSI, and then you get store credit back. Well, say you bought in very early on with a ship that has lifetime insurance. You can no longer get lifetime insurance. Well, you don't want to actually refund that back for store credits. What you can do by doing this, by doing an upgrade this way, the insurance and other items transfer over. So if I had a LTI insurance on an Aurora LN, I could swap that out to the Avenger. Where'd the Avenger go? Right there. And the lifetime insurance and the credits and all of that transfer over to the Avenger Stalker. So I still have the LTI, the rare item that I can't buy anymore. It's just now with a different ship. So yeah, hopefully that makes sense. That's the best way to do it. If you're going to be upgrading to a higher end ship, do it this route. Keep any of the bonus goodies you have, any of the bonus insurances, and just pay the difference for ships. So go over to spend some rec, run out a ship, find a ship that you like, come in here, upgrade your chassis, boom, boom, boom. You can now have a better ship, spending the minimum amount of money. The only other thing I wanted to go over is there's some pretty cool things. There's one other item that I think is pretty cool in here that they talk about, but they don't show off a lot, and that is the star map. So let's launch the star map here. We're going to come on in here and launch in. And mainly what this is good for is it gives you some idea of the scope of what they are going for. And what you can do is you can find basically well, let's preface this by saying it's not as big as Elite Dangerous and it's not as big as Eve, but it's still a pretty darn impressive area. So we zoom out here, you can see all the different planets, or I guess galaxies, solar systems in the galaxy that they are looking to do. And it's quite a few. They're looking to do quite a few of them in here. In fact, you can see I had Earth right there, Sol system. So if we click here, we can come in. Here's Sol. There's Earth. We can zoom back out. You can start to see some of the bigger ones. And you can see the actual size of what the actual system around here is, just around Earth. Go to bookmarks. Did I bookmark anyone? Darn it, I didn't bookmark it. Let's back out. Where's the Crusader? It's Stanchion, I think. Stanchion system. Here we go. Yeah, let's go to Stanchion system. So this is the system that we are actually in the current little mini player universe. And we're over here around Crusader. What you can actually see here very quickly is we're actually only in not even a quarter of the actual system. This is a much smaller system than Earth. But you can see all the little relays and everything we go out to. They're all right in this one little section. So it gives you a little bit of an idea of the scale of the game they're going for. So we're in a sixth of the zone of the system, which is then just one in a massive, though not as big as Eve, universe that they're putting together. And zoom back out, zoom back out, zoom back out. There you go. This is it's a helpful little tool, really, to get an idea of what it is they're going for, especially when they do those lore maker guides. You can jump in here and actually see which zones they're talking about, though that's not really for me. So anyway, I think that about does it. Hopefully that helps you get going. I think that's some good information. Between these 4 videos, you should be able to get started in Star Citizen, get the most out of your experience, and hopefully enjoy the game to what is we can currently do maximum. Now I'm rambling, so we're going to call it quits there. Until next time, though, this has been Paler. Thanks for watching.